Our next category is academic achievement. This recipient has excelled by furthering and utilizing their education for the betterment of themselves and especially for others. Scott Douglas Makar graduated from Manatee High School in the top 4% of his class on June 12, 1977. You can give him a round of applause. Absolutely. He was a member of the Latin Club, Mu Alpha Theta, National Honor Society. He got a white M. He was on the golf team and an all-state golf conference. Scott is a graduate of Mercer University with majors in mathematics and economics. He graduated from the University of Florida with a degree in economics and a PhD in 1993 and an MA in 1982. Got to follow this here. There's a lot to it here. So he got his law degree, he got his JD in 1987 and a finance MBA in 1982. Scott has served as judge in the First District Court of Appeals since 2012. He was Florida's Solicitor General for 5 years, Chief of the Appellate Division of the Office of General Counsel in the City of Jacksonville for 6 years, and was a partner in the law firm of Holland and Knight. Scott's life work has been in the legal profession, but he has an almost unbroken lifelong record and passion for academic teaching. And he's done some publications as well since graduating from Manatee High School. Beginning with tutoring in undergrad school, teaching economics in graduate school, and about 35 years of legal teaching beginning in his second year of law school. He started a 4-year stint teaching undergraduate business law at University of Florida and while in law school. He taught 8 semesters to between 800 and 900 students during that time. Since then, he's taught dozens of law courses at UF Law, FSU Law, the University of North Florida, Jacksonville University, and the former Florida Coastal School of Law, and estimates he's taught 400 to 500 law students over the years, some of who now serve on Florida courts. He taught 7 different courses at Florida State Law over 7 semesters, while simultaneously arguing cases in every Florida court, including 5 in the U.S. Supreme Court, holding the record of the most arguments in 1 year, which is 4, by a Solicitor General. That's a big deal. It was the most intense professional and academic experience of his career. At Florida State, Scott held an endowed chair as the state Solicitor General for 5 years. Scott lives in Jacksonville and is currently a college professor and judge on the Florida First District Court of Appeal. He and his wife Nancy have 3 children. He was nominated by his wife Nancy Hogshead Makar, who is with us this evening, along with his brother Michael from the class of 1975 and his wife Mary Ann. Let's give it up for Scott Douglas Makar for academic achievement.
Well, I don't have any $1 bills to give out. That was great. Let me start this way. May it please the association. It is a great honor to be here, and it's such a great time to be back here in Bradenton. I live in Jacksonville. I've been away for decades. And frankly, to do what I've done with my life, I had to leave the community, which I regretted at the time. I always thought I'd have the life Judge Blue had. That was the life I was planning to lead coming out of Manatee High School. But it worked out differently. Before I start, I want to also thank the association for this becoming the de facto 45th anniversary reunion for my 1977 class. Let me do a couple quick thank yous before I focus in on Manatee High and the experience I had. Let me first say that at my table over here we have Lisa Verano, right? We have Cindy Shaw Gowans. I invited them to come tonight because we are Manatee, but we also have roots in the island. and there's a group of us Islanders who went to Manatee High School back at that time that were tight, that were really, we did really well at Animator Elementary, but in high school, I think we continued to excel. There's something about the Island School, I think, Mr. Sanko and the other teachers out there. That's another thing. Teachers, where's the principal? It's remarkable how, as I look through all the yearbooks of my 4 years at Manatee High, how many great teachers we had. And they were there all 4 years. You could count when you came in as a freshman that you'd have Rebel Tinsley for Math 5 in your senior year. Stability, predictability, quality of teachers that we had. It was just wonderful. It was just wonderful. And thank yous go out to the table here. More than 1977 folks. We've got John Martin, Wade Quisenberry, who's come all the way from Jacksonville. We get together, the 1977 class of 1977 graduates from Jacksonville area, and anyone else that wants to come on up. We get together every holiday season, end of the year, have a big bash with barbecue and libations at our home in Jacksonville. So thank you for coming this evening. It means a lot. Sandy Mackey, of course. Probably a lot of people know Sandy. She's like the relationship person. She pulls all these relationships together. Thank you, Sandy, for being my brother's neighbor, but also for getting me on the golf course tomorrow morning for 9 holes of Brady Country Club, so I can relive all the glory that I have occasionally there from time to time. Other thank yous quickly. I wanted to, of course, thank the association. I did prepare a 15-minute talk, but I'm going to try to get down to 5 because I've been told. But remember, I do have statewide contempt powers. So watch out there.
I think Judge Smith can get me off.
Oh, thank you for mentioning Judge Smith. I was going to say something nice. One of the most important people in my career was Chesterfield Smith, his uncle, Judge Smith's uncle, who was a partner at Holland and Knight. And there's a great book out about him now, but I wanted to, where's Judge Smith? I know his name or something. Thank you for coming. I really very much appreciate it. Now turning to Manatee High, everything I need to know I learned from Manatee High School. There's a book called Everything I Need to Learn I Learned in Kindergarten, but it's about Manatee High School. A quick anecdote. I wanted to turn to you wonder why I have my yearbook here. I wanted to turn back and kind of relive what it was like back then. And like, why am I here tonight for the academic achievement award? Did someone see this potential for academic achievement way back then in 1977? So I pulled out my yearbook, and the first thing I turned to was a quote from Wade Quisenberry, who said, "Scott, I hope someday that you become the Perry Mason and the Arnold Palmer of Bradenton." The Arnold Palmer didn't work out. So Wade at least saw some hope there. Another classmate wrote, "Scott, it's been fun trying to copy off you this year in Latin. Although I couldn't see over your shoulder, I tried anyway." That person's not here tonight. So. But I thought back and I thought again about the teachers and the diversity of teachers. We had such wonderful people in our high school who were teaching us over those 4 years. We also had an incredible diversity of people. We had, you'll see, I brought tonight, if you happen to go by, they wanted me to bring memorabilia. I've got over there 3 of the many shop items. Remember Industrial Arts? All right, Mr. John, not Rudisell, but the shop teachers. I've got a chessboard I made. I've got a beautiful shorebird in my toolbox that we made. My point is that academic achievement, yeah, it's great, but look, practical skills. Typing, how many people took typing? I mean, wasn't that a lifelong skill? If I didn't have typing, how would I ever get my opinions out these days? I mean, so Manatee High School provided just this incredibly diverse experience. We had teachers like William Wood, who taught us humanities, who really was a humanitarian himself. Remember Rebel Tinsley? She taught journalism, and she was handicapped. She could barely get around, right? But what an inspiration she was to all of us. And these were amazing people. General Skidmore and so forth. They're just wonderful people that I can't tell you how much it influenced my academic career. And of course, academics, it was all about being an educator. How many educators do we have here? They're in education. I mean, everyone's an educator in some sense. You got to teach someone to do something, right? But there's something special about the look in a student's eye when they understand something for the first time. And it's because you help them understand it. It's sort of like being a lawyer. I know you did this for years at Carlton Fields and elsewhere. When you get that great feeling when you walk into a courthouse to go to a hearing and the client you have with you is so poor that they can't afford you. There's no more powerful feeling to be a lawyer doing pro bono work for someone who can't afford a lawyer. It's the same feeling you get with being an educator. You get that great vibe of, wow, I have really made a difference because this person understands economics or math or law, whatever it might be. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that the association has recognized that in me. I will say, just to kind of get towards the conclusion here, I'm leaving off one person. I got two more quick things. One quick, Judge Blue. I'm going to hand you a copy of this in a minute, but I pulled this out of my scrapbook from 1976. Why am I an appellate judge today? I've been on the bench 10 years now. I was appointed by Governor Scott 10 years ago. Why? Well, there's 27 local high school students watch, learn judicial process. 27 of us, myself included, went to watch oral argument at the 2nd District Court of Appeal, which I've been able to sit on now twice. But we got to watch the arguments at the Manatee County Courthouse. Who put it on? The Manatee County Bar Association. Who was president of the Manatee County Bar Association that year? Anyone want to guess? Judge Blue. It's here all in the article. So, that small gesture of putting this, it's a great gesture, that moment where in my mind, in the back of my mind, I want to be an appellate judge, was born out of that experience. And we sat down at the Braden Country Club and had lunch and talked about it, and it was so meaningful. And that's what Manatee High provided to me. In conclusion, I need to wrap it up, I know. I'm doing okay? No hook coming out here. Certainly I want to thank my brother Mike for being here. He put 20 years of service in the U.S. Air Force at the highest level, literally. He used to be on the airplanes called the Looking Glass, where in case of a nuclear strike, his airplane would become the command center for the country. And he did that for, I don't know, decades, but thank you for your service. I also want to conclude by saying, who have I left out?
Your wife?
My wife. And there's a reason for that, okay? Thank you, Nancy, for nominating me. I guess she did it 5 or 6 years ago, because when I got the call, it was a total surprise, right? I was like, what's this all about? I thought it was a fundraiser. Like, and they said, would you like to be an outstanding alumni? And I said, well, how much is it going to cost? A lot. So, but Nancy had done it, hadn't told me, or if she had told me, I'd forgotten it. But I put off to the end of thanking her because obviously she's been so important in my life. We have such a wonderful family and all, but she in her own right, I mean, I wrote it down here. You need to create a new category for MHS alums. It's called the Married Above Their Pay Grade Award. for the alum who's married. Because Nancy has 3 gold medals and a silver in swimming from the 1984 Olympics. She was #1 in the world at age 14 in her swimming events. We boycotted the 1980 Olympics when she was on the 1980 Olympic team, but she came back in '84 and had the most medals of any Olympian that year. And she's turned her career into one where she fights for gender equity in sports for women. And makes me so proud in what she does every day. If you go look in the paper today, you'll find Nancy's name And I guess, she put Makar on the end of it. Nancy Hogg said Makar. So so that was wonderful. But you'll find that she's on the cutting edge of the transgender swimmer issue, the women's pay, equity, and soccer, and all that. So, Nancy, I know everyone will now want to meet you after so thank you very much, and thank you to the association.
Wow, I am so glad.